Hey everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for Tag Tutor this week, I'm going to be doing the nerdy narrative book tag. So this week I'm going to be trying doing it a bit different. I've got my notebook with me. Normally when I'm reading from this, I would be changing to a question page so you can't see me with my head down in the book, but I'm going to try and do it a bit more natural this week because I'm getting a bit more confident with my speaking, I hope, and I hope that's coming through in my videos. Anyway, let's get into those questions. So, question 1, science fiction. What is a futuristic or imaginative element in a book that you're glad is not real? For this one, I'd have to say anything 40k universe related. For those of you who do not know what the 40k universe is, it's a series of books based on a hobby of mine, and the narrative for the game is, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only war. Now, the human race has these things called Astartes, which are gene-enhanced humans that just live for fighting and killing off the alien races, and the alien races all fight amongst themselves and want to kill off each other as well. It rarely is a very xenophobia kind of future that is set where everybody is fighting for dominance and for survival, and I'm really glad that is not the real kind of existence, and I really hope when we do eventually go out into space that we are met with an open community rather than a war-torn universe. So question 2, horror. What has been the scariest moment for you while reading? For me, I'd have to say this has got to be Goblin Slayer. It's a light novel that is very controversial with its writing as well as its anime adaptation. Within the first part of the book, we are actually introduced into a rape scene, and it just sets the mood for the series. It's meant to show you that while a lot of people see these goblins as weak, insignificant things, they're still monsters and they still prey on the weak and innocent, and they are something to be scared of. And it puts it into a light that you just were not expecting. It rarely is something that is actually quite shocking, and was very controversial in that book and the anime, and got a lot of coverage in the anime community. So for me, that is probably the one that sticks out the most. So question 3 is fantasy. What would you import from a fantasy world into our own world? I think most people would probably go magic on this one, and I'm not going to go along that normal line. For me, I'd say it'd be the leveling system that you see in so many kind of Japanese light novel isekai books. So this is where you've got like a leveling system that's based on a game. So when you learn something, you learn it as a skill, and then you can get experience points for them, and you can actually see your skill level rising into it. And once you've got that skill and it goes up to it, you don't lose it. I think that would be actually fantastic because it would allow us to actually learn things, gain experience in them, gain skill points, and progress along a lot better. And it would give us all certain paths to go down where you can actually see how proficient you are against it, rather than struggling and fighting like we do sometimes in the real world. So for me, it would be a level-based system where you can actually gain experience points and put those into skills to help yourself progress in life. Okay, next question is question 4. Comic or manga? What's a comic or manga you enjoy or one you've wanted to check out? This is actually quite the perfect question. I've actually picked up a brand new comic today from my local store that's actually based around one of my other hobbies. It is, let me just grab it. the Magic the Gathering comic. So I collect Magic the Gathering, or MTG. So for those of you who don't know, it's a collectible card game. And they've got a lot of rich history and lore and stories as well that follows the entire card game from its early inception in the 90s up until now. And this is the first comic I've picked up in it. I haven't really followed the lore too much in this one like I have with some of my other hobbies, so I'm hoping this is going to be a good starting point for me to actually get into the lore and then look at some of the back history around it. So yeah, that is definitely one comic that I have been looking forward to, which I've just picked up. For manga, I would probably say Rising of the Shield Hero. I've just actually placed an order for number 1. When I went to the shop to pick that up, I had a look through the manga section and they had in mangas 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, but there was missing 1 and 4. So what I've done is I've placed a back order on the 1 and 4, and when they get in, I'm going to buy all 9 in one go and completely binge the hell out of it, because I absolutely love the light novel series, as you can see behind me, and I love the anime series, which has got a second season coming out this year, which I am looking forward to. So that is definitely the one for the manga for me. Okay, question 5. Literary fiction or classics? What's a classic book you have been meaning to read? For me, it'd be The Count of Monte Cristo. I watched one of the many adaptations of it in movie form back when I was a teenager, and I absolutely loved it, and I've wanted to read the source material ever since. I'm not quite sure the reason I haven't picked it up yet, but if it's anything, or if I had to put it to thought, it would be maybe because I don't want to spoil the movie, because I enjoyed it that much, and normally when I read a book, it normally spoils the movies for me because the books have so much extra information in it, and because that book had such a special place for me back then, it's one of those that I don't want to risk spoiling. The second one, and this I'm going to potentially get some hate for because I've never read it, is the Harry Potter series. Yes, surprisingly, I've never actually read it. I watched the movies. Again, it's probably along the same line as The Count of Monte Cristo. I really enjoyed the movies, but I never got round to reading the books. And I'm afraid if I read the books, it could spoil the movies now I've seen them. Now, if I read the books first and then watch the movies afterwards, or the TV series afterwards, then neither of them ever get spoiled, because I think that's the way you're normally meant to watch them, or the order you're meant to consume them in. But because I watched the movies first, I'm afraid going back and reading the books, I'm sort of going to expect certain scenes, and when it doesn't happen the way it does, will either improve it for me and ruin the movies, or I'll think to myself, it doesn't quite feel right. So it's one I want. It is a series I want to pick up, but I've just never got round to it. So I rarely should, and I do have somebody I can borrow that off. So it could be one I do pick up in the near future, or it is, or I have actually been saying that for a number of years now. So we'll see. And hopefully I haven't offended too many people by not reading that series yet, because I know it is a beloved series by a lot of booktubers. So question 6, The Busy Bee. What book would you like to share with all your friends? So for me, and I've said this in multiple videos, it's got to be the Ascendance of a Bookworm series. I love the light novel series. I've recently got into the manga, and I loved the anime as well. And I'd love for all my friends and anybody watching this to give any of those a try. The series itself is beautifully written. It's not very fast paced, so if you are into fast paced kind of fantasy, then it isn't for you. But the story behind it and the emotions that it can make you feel are very, very real, and It is one I cannot harp on enough about. It's one I hold very dear to my heart, and one I would recommend over and over again to anybody wanting to pick up a new kind of slice of life kind of book. So, question 7, the influencer. If you could have influenced a writer to make a different decision in a book, what would it have been? That's actually a very tough one. I'm not 100% sure. If anything comes to mind, it would be the Arifureta Zero series. I love Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest. It's a series that I've had many a laugh over and really enjoyed. Now, the Zero series is a prequel to that, and again, I'm absolutely loving it. But the only thing that I think is done slightly wrong is too many of the tropes out of the first one is carried over into this prequel. I know what the writer's getting at. The fact that the book is showing how people in the past have influenced the modern society today, how people from years and years ago, how their personalities still live on in the people in the current world. The problem is they're too identical in some cases, so I would have liked to have seen a bit more variance in how the personalities work. You could still keep the kind of general sense of it all while making it a bit more different, and I think that would have made the story a bit more endearing to me than it currently is, because to me the original Arifureta series is a lot better than the prequel, even though I am enjoying the prequel an awful lot. Okay, question 8. The birthday wish. What book do you want for your birthday? Actually, I've got most of the books I currently want. Um, if anything, maybe the Rise of a Shield Hero manga series I spoke about, because I just ordered the first 9, so that is a huge chunk. So getting those all in one go, so I don't have to pay for them, would probably be ideal, because otherwise my bank account next month is going to drain really, really quickly from my from the amount I give myself to spend on books each month. So, if anything, it would be that one. But I've got an awful long wait to go, because it's just been my birthday and I got a number of books for that. One book I did actually ask for on my birthday, which I did get, was The Ascendance of a Bookworm series. So there was a few in the collection I was missing, so I asked for that and I got those. Another book I got which I was missing was my Didn't I Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life, so I was missing a couple out of that series as well, and I got one of those. So yeah, those were on my actual birthday list, which I did get. But if I got to ask now for a second birthday, I'd be asking for the Rise of the Shield Hero manga series. And last but not least is question 9, the invite. Who are you inviting to your party? So this is a tag section. I'm still learning people on Booktube and MangaTube and all the various different subgenres of this section, and I'm still making friends along the way. So I'm not quite sure who to tag on this one. So anybody who's watching this, if you've enjoyed the tag, please take that as me tagging you to actually give this a go and sharing it with the wider community, because I've had a lot of fun doing this one, and hopefully that's come through with how I've put myself over and how I've loosened up doing this video compared to some of my other ones. Anyway, thank you again for listening, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye for now.